thanks for stopping by the channel or coming back. It's greatly appreciated. This video, I want to talk about an experience that I had this evening. It's related to wearing facial coverings or masks in public. I know I've done a couple of these already. This one is going to be a shift. Not in my compliance to the great muzzling of the American voice or the voice of Minnesotans here in the people's state of Marxisota. It's going to be a shift in how I am going to be dealing with these situations from now on. So currently, as I interact with employees at a store or a business where they are required by the governor's mandate to, for lack of better terminology, enforce his rules for him, I'm going to continue to do my best to educate store managers, cashiers, clerks, whatever the case might be, in the reality that they are not allowed to ask people to wear masks and even ask why they don't wear masks. So the shift is going to be how I deal with people who are gutsy enough to challenge me not wearing a mask. And that's what happened tonight. So as I stopped into the local Quick Trip, which is a gas station convenience store, they make no effort to enforce mask mandates. They put their signage up. They are not openly defying the governor, but they are not making people leave. If I remember correctly, the owners of Quick Trip have said, we are not going to police this for any state, any governor, any agency. So what happened to me this evening was, as I stood in line after putting fuel in my vehicle and picking up another product, a gentleman standing in front of me, an older gentleman, definitely my senior, and I want to emphasize we want to be as respectful to our seniors as possible, but doesn't mean we can't be firm. So this gentleman turns around and looked at me. I could tell he was sizing me up. He was eyeing me. And he said, "Don't you wear masks?" And I said, "Nope, I do not." He goes, "Oh." And he turned around. And he thought for a second, then he turned back around and goes, "Well, why don't you wear masks?" He goes, "Because you're going to wish you wore a mask after you get COVID and get sick." And I said, "No, I won't. I won't wish that. And I don't wear masks because I'm not afraid." And he kind of humphed and turned back around, and then he looked back at me again, and he said, "Well, you're going to wish you did." And I said, "Why would I wear a mask? Can you please, sir?" And I was respectful again, and now there's an audience now. There's people standing over by the coffee bar and some people behind me who are viewing this, and they're listening. And I said, "Sir, could you please tell me when, in the history of the United States, have we ever, for a virus that has a 98% survivability rate, have we ever taken such draconian, unconstitutional mandates and measures issued by dictums from governors to control people over something like a virus? When? When have we ever done that in the history of the United States?" That's all I said. Now, I wasn't intending on going there to have a confrontation, and I didn't catch it on video like I have some of my others. But what I did do was have the conversation with him. He didn't like it, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him not liking that. But we have to start having different conversations with different people in different positions in Minnesota or whatever your state might be, because if we don't, the autocrats and the authoritarians and the tyrants like Governor Walz here in the state of Minnesota are going to continue to, for lack of better terminology, push us around as the sheeple will comply. I guarantee you that this poor gentleman, this older man, and I would imagine he's probably in that age category that is at risk. And I'm glad that for him, he's made the decision to wear a mask. But that should be his decision. That shouldn't be the decision of any bureaucrat. It shouldn't be the decision of any autocrat. It shouldn't be the decision of any tyrant. It shouldn't be the decision of a governor. My health should be my decision. Your health should be your decision. And we've lost sight of that today. We don't think about that anymore. So I'm going to challenge you. If you are a person who is opposed to masks, opposed to facial coverings, and opposed to especially government dictums, edicts from on high, from elected and unelected authoritarians, little tyrants, don't cave in to the pressure, but also at the same time, don't walk away from the experience without having attempted to explain yourself, or without having attempted to, for lack of better terminology, instruct people in liberty. This is a constitutional issue. And as it's a constitutional issue, for Christians, it's a biblical issue. For non-Christians, it's a biblical issue. And the reason that I say that is because, as I've pointed out so often over the last several years, but especially since the beginning of March of this year, the Constitution is our highest ruling authority. You don't get to cancel the Constitution. You don't get to infringe on the rights of Americans, liberty-loving, patriotic Americans. You don't get to infringe on their rights for something as simple and mundane as a virus. You just don't. It's not right. I'm sorry that people die. I am. It's tragic. I hate the fact that people are dying. But we don't react this way to any of the other atrocities that happen by way of death in the United States. We just don't. We could very easily quell all the concern about all the people who are dying if we were to follow God's ordained path for replenishing the population of the earth by eliminating abortion in the United States. And we need to start thinking about that. God doesn't hate viruses. They are part of living in a sin-cursed world that has been affected by the fall of man into sin. Abortion is a great evil. It is not a calamity. It is a great evil. No one is talking about that right now. But they'll freak out on you for not wearing a facial covering. Let that sink in. And if you're one of those who's all about making people wear facial coverings, who thinks that this is a law, by the way, it's not, I want you to consider what your position is on abortion, and whether or not it's murder, and whether or not people participating in the murder of children in the womb should be tried as murderers, to include the doctors, the nurses, the mothers, and the fathers. Sic semper